What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Ediiscookin. It has been a while since we put out a video, so to start things right off, we're going to be making Armenian barbecue on this episode. Today we're going to be using pork only. I'm going to show you how to season it, skewer it, and grill it to perfection. Also, we'll be making a side dish that complements our barbecue very well. So let's get straight to it. All right, so let's start by cutting up our meat. Try to get these flies out of the way. Cut up our meat and get it ready for marinated. As you can see, I've got a few beautiful pieces of pork chops, and I have baby back ribs here. So let's get my board over, and then what I'd like to do is get some of this membrane off. I don't usually take it off all the time since I'm gonna grill. I feel like the membrane in the back keeps all that juice and flavor in there, but since it's gonna be hanging and I'll get burnt, might as well get it out. Let's see. So, and I want pieces like this, that way I can skewer it. Two. Perfect. Do this one. I shouldn't have cut it that way, but oh well. There we go. Perfect. That's going to be a nice chunky piece. All right. Let's get this out of the way. There's all our meat. All right, and let's start seasoning and then put it in a container, get it ready to marinate. So what I'm gonna do actually is start by chopping up some onions. I'm gonna get rid of my gloves. And then I'll move this over to the side, bring my other board. There we go. And I like to use white onions. They're much crispier, not too sweet, and they taste good cooked or uncooked. So I'm gonna use it fresh to garnish and also throw some on the meat to marinate it. I'm trying to get rid of these flies. Okay, so cut in half. Where's my trash can? All right, like to cut it in half. Not too thin, not too thick. Like a cardboard size. And half onion should be more than enough for our marinade. All right, once you get that down, just toss it all over the meat like that. And I'm gonna put this board to the side, and we'll come back to it again to dice up some more onions and also to some herbs for our garnish. Okay, and put on a glove real quick, and at this point, come on, let's get our meat out. I like to season it with salt, pepper, a little bit of paprika. I like to use coarse ground salt and also pepper. That should be how everybody does it. You don't want to use table salt and pepper to season your meat or your barbecue. I like to go this way. When you're seasoning it with the coarse ground, you can actually see how much onion and how much peppers you're putting on there. Just like that. A bad day to be out here with all these flies. Alright. And then we'll go with pepper. Again, coarse ground. That way you can see how much you're seasoning it with. I usually have a container mixed, pepper and salt mixed together already. Half and half. That way it's much easier and quicker to do. But for demonstration purposes, I wanted to do a separate. A little bit of paprika, not much. You don't want that. And this is smoked paprika. I like the smoked ones much better than the non-smoked. All right, and flip them over. And I'm gonna go more heavier on this side. These flies are just driving me crazy now. All right, again, salt. And once I get salt and everything on there, I'll bring it more closer to the lens. That way you can see. Just like that. By the time the meat marinates, you know, the salt is gonna melt off of it. Or not off, but it's gonna melt into it and inside the meat. Peppers. Okay, a little bit of paprika. You can have these in a shaker to make it easier. I'm just doing this straight out of a container for demonstration purposes. All right, as you can see, I've got a decent amount of salt, pepper on there. For our herb, I like to use savory. Makes a whole world of difference. When you try it, you'll thank me for it. I use this on pork, beef, sometimes on chicken. Let me flip it over. And then once we're done, there we go. All right, let me put on a second glove and then we can mix this around. All right, so once you're done, just toss it around. Let the onion get all over, the seasoning, mix it all up together. Absorb all that salt and pepper off the table. And when you're cooking it, we're gonna take, the onions we're gonna get the onions off of it. That way we're not burning it on the grill. All right, as you can see, look at that. Got a decent amount of pepper, salt, savory, onions on there. And what we're gonna do is put it in a container, leave it in the fridge for about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. You can get this ready by noon, and then in the evening time you're ready to barbecue. Or you can leave it overnight, up to 16 hours to marinate. All right, so here's our container. I like to line it up in there like this. Throw some of this onions on top of it. All right, perfect. Let's get the rest of the onions on it. All right. So I'm gonna leave this in the refrigerator for a few hours. And then we're gonna come back and work on our veggie, get the grill going, start cooking the veggies, and then we'll pull the meat out and start grilling that. All right, so at this point we have the meat marinating in the refrigerator. I'm gonna light the fire up, get the coals going. Once that settles down, we'll throw the veggies on the grill, get that done, work on the garnish, and eventually bring out the meat, skewer it out, and then start cooking the meat. Okay, so I like to use a chimney to burn the fire, and I've got some fire starters here. This will help me in keeping the fire from the coal chips getting all over the place. Much cleaner, burns quicker, and then once it's nice and red hot, I'll dump it in there and start cooking. All right, let me get my lighter. I'm gonna use my torch. Unfortunately, the big lighters don't work as good. There's one and the other one. All right, we'll let that burn. I try to avoid using the lighter fluids. I don't like the taste and smell of it. Sometimes I can taste it on the meat, but I think this is the best way to go. All right, looks like our fire is almost ready. So let's get the veggies skewered up, ready to be grilled. So what I'm gonna do is some tomatoes, and I like to get rid of that onion, cut it in half, and I'll show you why. Okay. And then once you cut it in half, I like to put a nice layer of salt. Again, we're going to be using coarse ground, like this. And I'm going to skewer it. Just like that. There we go. One. Oh, these are nice and ripe. Two. Oop. That one went in an angle. Should be able to fit all of this on the grill. Measure. Yep, got room for one more. Perfect. There we go. Just like that. Set that to the side. And I like to use Anaheim peppers. These are a little bigger than what I normally try to get, so I try to skewer it in an angle. That way they're not flipping over as I'm grilling it. Alright, just like that. Okay, next is our eggplants. I like to use these. I think they're called the Japanese eggplants. Take some of these edges off, that way you're not burning them. And the same thing as the peppers. Do it in an angle, that way they're not flipping over. There we go. Those are a little awkward sizes, but make it work. There we go. Sometimes, I'll put it on two different skewers. That way when I'm flipping it over to cook the other side, they're not rotating around. But I think we should be good with this. Okay, there's our veggies. Alright, it's time to dump the coal into the grill. Let's do that. Okay, let's get these inside the grill. Hopefully you can see how nice and red hot they are. There we go. Beautiful. And then let me grab my barbecue stick. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice and red hot. Get it up like this. And then what I'll do is give it a few more minutes. And then put the veggies on there. Actually, let me keep my stick here. All right, our coals are ready for the veggies. Now I'm gonna push this away. I'm gonna put the eggplants right in the middle because that takes the longest to cook. Just like that. I should have angled them a little different, but that's all right. All right, so we'll let this cook. I'm gonna go grab the meat out of the marinade. We'll skewer that, get it ready to be grilled. And we'll make the garnish right after that, once we get it skewered, and go from there. All right, let's start skewering our meat. Hopefully you can hear the noise in the background. The veggies are popping and cooking. All right. Got these nice thin skewers for the meat. And remember how we cut it with both the bones in the middle. Like that. Get rid of the onions off of it. That way they're not burning. I don't like the taste of burnt onions on the meat on my barbecue. I don't know about you. Go. That's perfect. Set that to the side. Now the chops are a little tricky to skewer. I usually score the fat. That way it doesn't turn into a pocket and all the grease stays in there. But with this one, there isn't that much, so I didn't bother doing that. So let's see, we got meat right there. So I'm gonna go straight through and right next through the bone. There we go. Perfect. All the way down. Oh, that's a big one right there. So same thing. Straight through. This one's gonna flop a little bit, but that's all right. And how about I should be able to fit all three of them onto this one. Now, how about I put this big one in there? There we go. Perfect. Okay. And I'll keep the last pork chop on a separate skewer. It's a little thicker meat. It's gonna take a little longer to cook than these ribs. Plus, it'd be way too much on just this one skewer. There's that. And the last piece. It smells really good with the onions. And optionally, what I like to do is, of course I didn't do it for this video, but I like to throw in a little bit of shallots in there also with the onions. Now shallots are, you get a little bit of taste of that garlicky flavor and mixed onion flavor. I like how that turns out, but for this video, we're gonna stick to the traditional style. Perfect. All right. Freaking flies are coming all over already because the smell of the meat. Let's get rid of this. Veggies are coming along nice and good. They're almost done. That's what I was talking about, the flipping and flopping, but that's all right, we can work with that. All right, I'm gonna let the veggies cook real quick, and I'm gonna actually work on the garnish. Let me grab myself a nice plate. So we're gonna use the rest of those onions. And again, I like to use the white onions. They're nice and flavorful. Goes great as a garnish. Tastes good when they're raw, not like the rest of the onions. I like it. So nice thin chop. Perfect. Move these over to our bowl. There we go. And then let's grab some herbs. All right. And I like to use a mixture of parsley, Italian parsley, curly parsley, some cilantro. Come on. A little bit more. There we go. Not too fine. We get rid of that. Perfect. Mix that into our bowl. Okay. And what I like to do is a little bit of salt, season it, some pepper, and this is some somach. I don't know if you can find it in some of the international stores. Some of the big box grocery stores have it also. It's got a tangy taste to it. It's a ground up flour. Just a little bit of that. And then work it with your hands, mix it all together. Get all the juices to come out and get mixed up. Making a mess here, but it's all right. There you go. Perfect. Let's put that to the side. Let me clean up here real quick. All right, looks like our peppers are almost, not almost, but they're, oh shoot, we lost one. That's all right. There's the peppers. And the eggplants, same. Very nicely done. Our tomatoes, flip to this side, let those cook. 5-second rule, right? That's been more than 5 seconds, but anywho. All right, so let's put the meat on. Actually, what I'm gonna do is tap on the charcoal real quick to get rid of that burnt dust so we can have a decent fire. That's good, perfect. Let's put the meat on. I'll go with the chops first since it's thicker. There we go. And then let's clean the veggies. Like take the skin off. Just like that. I should have brought another bowl. Whew, that's hot. All right. There we go. Cut the ends off. There's one. Start cleaning everything else. Now you can put these in a plastic bag right before cleaning it. That will get steamier and easier to clean. falling apart. Whew. There's that. There's that. All right, keep an eye on the meat. Don't forget. Oh, it smells real good in here. All right, looks like the front part of our tomatoes are done also. Carefully bring it over. Push that there. I think these need, well, not that one, but these two need a few more minutes. Our meat's looking good. Let me get the fat side to cook. This way. Come on, there we go. Okay, once those two tomatoes are out, I can actually put these next to it, get them warmed up. Put those to the side. All right, let me go get a container for our barbecue. Now we can put it in a pot, keep it warm. All right, I think that's good for our tomatoes. Set that there. Let's move the meat over. All right, I think we're almost there. Our meat is almost done. That one skewer in the middle, that one's, the first two are definitely done. So let's start pulling it and do a quality control on it. Ooh, smells good out here. All right, so I'd like to get my pot ready, lined up with some lavash. And what is a Armenian barbecue without a lavash? And this is freshly baked, delivered to me straight out of Southern California by a really good friend. I just made a mess. I like to line it up like this. And then once I put the barbecue in there, kind of blanket it in there. That way it stays nice and warm. There we go. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Ooh. I think I'm gonna leave this one on for just a few more minutes on this side. Cover it up. Let's put the lid back on. Only a handful, you know what that is. And that was for medicinal purposes only. Once you get one going, you have to go caveman style and to try it. They say the best taste of the barbecue is right next to the fire. And honestly, I agree 100%. This is hot. I'm gonna burn my mouth again. Ooh. That is really good. Perfect on the salt, the seasoning. Look how nice and juicy that is. That is, whew, is dripping. All right, with the meat cooking, it's got a few more minutes. I'm gonna show you what I do with the veggies. So I like to take a tomato, and I keep the skin on the tomato. I don't mind eating the skin. Chop it up a little bit. And you can do this ahead of time. Mix it up, have it ready, or I actually like it when it's put on the when it's on the table during dinner, just like how it is. That way I can do my own mixing. Grab some of the peppers, chop it up. Apologies for that noise in the background. My neighbor decided to mow their lawn. I like to mix it up like that, season it with some salt, or I'm sorry, that was pepper. with some salt and some of our garnish, like that, and chop it up even furthermore. Mix it up like this. Usually, you eat this right before the barbecue. You have to be good. You have to eat your veggies. Just like that. All right. Let's put this to the side. All right, these babies are ready to come out. Let's get that open. I took a little bit more than one bite off of it. Let me get a piece of lavash. Look at that. Ooh. That looks beautiful. Yeah, I went a little overboard on the cooking. But that's what happens when you're trying to do this and record at the same time. Look at that. Beautiful. And at the same time, you got the flies flying around with the smell of meat. Okay, let's get our garnish. Put that right on top. All of it. Look at that. Put that piece on it. Cover it. Let it sit a little bit. Let it rest. All right. Let's see how our food came out. First things first, let's try the veggies. Get these freaking flies away. Look at that. You can see that in the camera. There. Let's see. Perfect. Perfectly grilled. Seasoned nice. I like it. I like the touch of fresh onions in there also. I think with the crunchiness, crispiness of the fresh onions, it comes out real good. Let's put that to the side and get to the real deal. All right, let's see. I tried one of the pork chop also. Ooh, this is hot. I'm gonna burn my fingers off. Look at that. Whew. All right, I'm gonna go with the small one. That's good. Perfectly seasoned. I can taste the savory. It gives it a distinct taste to it. Nice. And you have to go caveman style with the barbecue. Yeah, you don't need forks or knives or anything. You just gotta go at it. Perfect. Came out really good. I'm really happy. Very simple to make, very easy, very tasty, flavorful. This is easy to do. If you got guests coming over for dinner, you can get this going by noon, have it ready by, dinner time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I hope you get to try it. Let me know how it goes, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.